Captain's log. Galactic date 47,392.6. Recording this feels beneath my station. Me, Captain Nexor Vrel of the Stellar Confederation's most advanced warship, the Celestial Storm, reduced to documenting our encounter with humans. But High Command insists every first contact be logged, even with species barely out of their planetary cradle. Captain, Lieutenant Karazen's voice crackles through the ship's comm system. The primary core is dropping to 15% efficiency. Secondary systems are failing. I slam my fist against the command chair. Impossible! This vessel is the pride of the Confederation fleet. Sir, she continues, her usual stoic demeanor cracking slightly. We're detecting a small craft approaching. It's human. I watch through the bridge viewport as a battered vessel approaches, its hull covered in mismatched patches and crude welding marks. How dare they approach the Celestial Storm, even in our current predicament? They're hailing us, Captain, Communications Officer Rin reports, antennae twitching with barely concealed amusement. Put them through, I growl, but maintain defensive protocols. A human female appears on our main screen, her dark skin contrasting with the bright orange of her worksuit. Behind her, I glimpse a cramped cockpit filled with scanning equipment that looks like it was cobbled together from spare parts. This is Captain Jessica Rodriguez of the independent salvage vessel Lucky Strike, she announces, completely unfazed by our superior technology. We noticed you're having some engine trouble. Need a hand? The sheer audacity, a salvage crew offering assistance to a Confederation warship? This is a restricted sector, I inform her coldly. Your presence here is a violation of Galactic Law 447B, subsection 12. She shrugs. Actually shrugs. Well, that law doesn't mean much if your ship can't move, does it? Our sensors show your core's about to go critical. We've got experience with your model. Had 3 of them in our yard last month. 3 Confederation warships? Preposterous. These humans wouldn't know a quantum matrix from a power coupling. Yet. As if to mock me, another warning light flashes on my command console. Captain, Lieutenant Zen interjects, core efficiency now at 12% and dropping. We have maybe 2 hours before total system failure. I grind my teeth, mandibles clicking in frustration. The human captain waits patiently, a knowing smile playing at the corners of her mouth. Very well, I concede, each word burning like acid. You may dock in Bay 3, but be warned, any hostile action will be met with immediate and overwhelming force. Wouldn't dream of it, Rodriguez replies cheerfully, though your weapon systems are probably offline too by now, right? Before I can respond, she cuts the transmission. The nerve. I watch as their small vessel executes a perfect docking maneuver. I'll grant them that much skill at least. Minutes later, Rodriguez strides onto my bridge like she owns it, followed by a team wearing those garish orange suits. They carry toolboxes that look like they've been through a war. Right then, she says, pulling out some primitive scanning device. Let's see what we've got here. Maya, check the secondary couplings. Raj, start on the power distribution network. And Tom, try not to blow anything up this time. That was one time, protests a young human male, already heading for the engineering access panel. I rise from my command chair, drawing myself up to my full height. Now see here. Rodriguez holds up a hand, not even looking at me as she studies her scanner. Captain Vrel, with all due respect, either let us work or start writing your resignation letter to High Command. Your choice. My bridge crew watches this exchange with a mix of horror and fascination. I should have this human thrown in the brig for such insolence. But another warning alarm sounds, and the deck plates beneath our feet shudder ominously. Fine, I spit out, but I'm watching your every move. Wouldn't expect anything less, Rodriguez replies, already buried shoulder deep in an access panel. Oh wow, whoever designed this power routing system was either a genius or completely insane, maybe both. I settle back into my command chair, dignity in tatters, and prepare myself for the longest watch of my career. To think the mighty Celestial Storm, reduced to accepting help from human scrappers. High Command will never let me live this down. But as I watch Rodriguez's team swarm over my bridge with surprising efficiency, a tiny part of me wonders if perhaps Just perhaps I've underestimated these humans. I quickly squashed that thought. They're still primitives, barely space-worthy primitives who happen to be our only option right now. Nothing more. How wrong I was. Captain S-log supplemental. Your quantum stabilizers are completely shot, announces a new human voice, belonging to someone Rodriguez introduces as their lead engineer, Madison Blake. She's been crawling through our engineering sections for the past hour, making increasingly concerning noises. Impossible, Chief Engineer Salrax protests, his scales turning a deep shade of purple with indignation. I personally calibrated those stabilizers last cycle. Blake emerges from an access tunnel, her face streaked with grease. Well, unless your last cycle was about 10 years ago, I'm pretty sure somebody sold you some counterfeit parts. These things are held together with, is that bubblegum? That's a high-density molecular bonding agent, Silrax sputters. Nope, definitely bubblegum, strawberry-flavored by the smell of it. Blake taps her tablet, showing a complex diagnostic readout. Look, your whole power distribution network is basically one hiccup away from total collapse. Whoever's been maintaining the ship has been slapping band-aids on quantum fractures. I turn to Silrax, who suddenly finds the floor fascinating. Explain. Well, replacement parts have been somewhat difficult to acquire lately, he admits. The Confederation's supply chain has been experiencing some minor delays. Minor delays, Rodriguez cuts in. Your secondary plasma conduits are being held in place with what looks like space duct tape. It's a temporary solution, Silrax protests. Yeah, and I'm the Queen of Mars, Blake mutters, already back in the access tunnel. Captain, you've got maybe 40 minutes before your core goes into cascade failure. When that happens, this whole ship becomes a very pretty light show. The deck shudders violently, sending several of my crew stumbling. Emergency lights flash as another system fails. 35 minutes now, Blake corrects herself. Hey Raj, bring me the big hammer. The what? Lieutenant Zen asks, horrified. Trust me, you don't want to know, Rodriguez says with a grin. Madison's methods are unconventional, but they work. A loud bang echoes through the ship, followed by the sound of something heavy being struck repeatedly. Silrax looks ready to faint. Stop, stop, he cries. That's delicate equipment. Not anymore, it's not. Blake's voice echoes from somewhere in the bowels of the ship. This stuff's basically scrap now, but don't worry, we've got something better. Several more humans enter the engineering section, carrying crates of equipment that looks decidedly non-regulation. Officer Rin peers at one of the boxes. Are those Earth components? She asks incredulously. But they're so primitive. Primitive but proven, Rodriguez explains. While you folks were busy making everything smaller and prettier, we were making stuff that actually works. Another violent shudder rocks the ship. Warning klaxons blare. Core stability at 8% and falling, Lieutenant Zen reports, her usual calm finally cracking. Captain, we need to consider abandoning ship. Nobody's abandoning anything, Blake declares, emerging from below decks covered in even more grease. Raj, Tom, start installing the bypass system. Maya, get ready with the emergency coolant. Jessica, I need you to sweet-talk their computer into accepting our patches. Your patches? I interrupt. You expect us to integrate human technology into a Confederation warship? Well, unless you'd prefer to be scattered across 3 sectors as subatomic particles. Blake leaves the sentence hanging. Another alarm joins the cacophony. The deck plates beneath our feet are now vibrating continuously. Core stability at 5%, Zen announces. Captain, we need to make a decision. I look around my engineering section, now swarming with humans working with frightening efficiency. My own crew stands helplessly by, watching as these supposed primitives tear into systems they've spent years maintaining. Do it, I finally order, feeling each word like a personal defeat. Whatever it takes. Now that's what I like to hear, Blake says cheerfully. Okay, people, let's show them how we do things down on Earth. Tom, hand me that plasma torch, the big one. The big one? Silrax whimpers. Core stability at 3%, Zen reports. The humans move like a well-oiled machine, installing their crude but sturdy components alongside our sophisticated technology. Blake orchestrates the chaos like a conductor, shouting orders that make absolutely no sense to my ears. Bypass is in, Raj calls out. Coolant systems ready, Maya confirms. Computer's playing nice, Rodriguez adds. For now. Core stability at 1%, Zen announces, her voice tight with tension. And now! Blake slams her hand down on what appears to be a manually operated switch. How barbaric, and everything goes dark. For 3 terrifying seconds, my mighty warship is completely dead in space. Then one by one, systems begin coming back online. Different hybrid readings appear on our displays. The vibration under our feet smooths out, then stops entirely. Core stability at 65% and rising, Zen reports, sounding stunned. How is this possible? Blake emerges from one final inspection, wiping her hands on a rag. Simple. We basically hot-wired your power distribution network, bypassed all the fancy automated systems, and ran everything through good old-fashioned manual controls. Sure, it's not pretty, but it works. But that's not how these systems are designed to function, Silrax protests weakly. Maybe that's the problem, Rodriguez suggests. Sometimes the old ways are the best ways. I stare at the new readings on my displays. Somehow these humans and their crude modifications have not only prevented our destruction, but actually improved our ship's efficiency. It defies everything I thought I knew about engineering. Core stability holding at 89%, Zen reports, a note of amazement in her voice. Blake grins, tossing her wrench from hand to hand. So who's hungry? Fixing dying spaceships always gives me an appetite. I look at my proud Confederation warship, now running on a bizarre combination of advanced alien technology and human engineering, and wonder what other surprises these primitives have in store for us. Little did I know this was just the beginning. Captain S log 3 days later. You want to do what to my weapon systems? I ask, certain I've misheard Blake's latest proposal. She's standing in front of my command chair, gesturing enthusiastically at a holographic display of the celestial storm's schematics. Around us, my bridge has become an odd mixture of sleek Confederation technology and rugged human modifications. Look, your plasma cannons are great and all, Blake explains, zooming in on the weapon arrays. But they're way too complicated. Half your power gets lost in all these fancy focusing crystals. We can strip that out, redirect the energy through some modified Tesla coils. Tesla coils, Lieutenant Zen interrupts. That's ancient technology. Ancient but effective, Rodriguez chimes in from where she's rewiring a control panel. Like a lot of human tech, it's not about being fancy. It's about getting the job done. Over the past 3 days, I've watched these humans transform my ship in ways that should be impossible. They've replaced our quantum-aligned maintenance systems with what they call good old-fashioned elbow grease. Our navigation computer now runs through something called a Raspberry Pi, which is neither a fruit nor a mathematical constant. Check this out, Blake says, pulling up new power readings. Your original weapons had a 40% energy transfer efficiency. With our modifications, we can bump that up to 85%. That's theoretically impossible, Chief Engineer Silrax protests, though with notably less conviction than 3 days ago. He spent too much time watching the humans work miracles with spare parts and determination. Theory's great, Blake responds, already heading for the weapons control station. But I prefer results. Raj, bring up the targeting computer. Tom, power up the modified array. Are you sure this is safe? I ask, watching nervously as they begin dismantling my ship's primary defense systems. Safe is relative, Rodriguez says with a laugh, but we haven't blown ourselves up yet. Yet? Officer Rinn squeaks. The next few hours are a blur of activity. The humans swarm over my weapon systems like insects, stripping away layers of sophisticated technology and replacing them with what looks like Industrial Revolution leftovers. Blake orchestrates the chaos with surprising precision, calling out instructions that sound more like magic incantations than engineering directives. Okay, cross the red wire with the blue one. No, the other blue one. Raj, we need more power to the coils. Tom, stop trying to make it pretty, just make it work. I watch in fascination as they integrate their primitive technology with our advanced systems. It shouldn't work. It can't work. Yet somehow. Weapons modifications complete, Blake announces proudly. Want to test it out? Test it on what? Rodriguez grins. There's an asteroid field about 10,000 kilometers off our port bow. Perfect target practice. I hesitate. Part of me wants to refuse to maintain some dignity and control over my vessel, but another part, Lieutenant Zen, target the largest asteroid in range. Target acquired, she reports, though I should note that these readings are unusual. Unusual how? The power levels are off the charts, she says, double-checking her instruments. I've never seen anything like it. Fire when ready, I order, trying to sound confident. The ship hums with energy. On the view screen, a beam of pure plasma erupts from our forward array. It doesn't just hit the asteroid, it vaporizes it completely, along with two smaller rocks behind it. Silence falls over the bridge. Holy shit, Tom whispers. Did we just do that? Language, Rodriguez scolds, but she's grinning from ear to ear. I stare at the weapon readouts in disbelief. How did you achieve this? Simple, Blake says, though her proud smile suggests it was anything but. We stripped out all the fancy automation and went straight for raw power. Sure, it's a bit crude, but sometimes a sledgehammer works better than a scalpel. Captain, Lieutenant Zen reports, her voice trembling slightly. Power efficiency is holding at 87%. That's more than double our original specifications. My mandibles click thoughtfully as I study the readings. What else can you improve? Well, Blake says, sharing a conspiratorial look with Rodriguez. We've got some ideas about your shield generators. Ever heard of something called a Faraday cage? I spend the next several hours watching in amazement as these humans continue to upgrade my ship. They replace our crystalline shield matrix with a crude but incredibly effective electromagnetic field. Our sensor array, once a marvel of quantum engineering, now incorporates something they call radio waves. It's not about having the most advanced technology, Rodriguez explains as we watch Blake and her team work. It's about using what works. Sometimes the old solutions are the best solutions. I'm starting to understand what she means. The Confederation has always pushed for newer, more sophisticated technology. But these humans, they take what they have and make it better through sheer ingenuity and determination. Captain, Officer Rin calls out. Long-range sensors are picking up something interesting. Want to see what these upgrades can really do? I look around my bridge. My beautiful, elegant bridge that now looks like a bizarre hybrid of advanced alien technology and human engineering. It's not pretty, it's not sophisticated, but as I give the order to investigate the sensor contact, I realize something that shakes me to my core. I've never felt more confident in my ship's capabilities. These humans haven't just repaired the celestial storm. They've made it into something entirely new, something that combines the best of both our species. And I have a feeling we're just getting started. Captain S-Log Supplemental. 3 Drachnid warships dropping out of hyperspace, Lieutenant Zen announces. They're charging weapons. Pirates, I growl, recognizing their attack formation. They must have detected our power fluctuations during the upgrades. Rodriguez leans against my command chair, looking far too relaxed for someone about to enter combat. Well, this should be fun. Madison, how about we show them our new toys? Bringing weapons online, Blake responds from the engineering station, which now looks like a bizarre mixture of advanced holographic displays and what humans call analog gauges. Tom, give me full power to the Tesla coils. Already on it, Tom shouts back, his hands dancing across 3 different control panels. Raj, we need more juice to the shield generators. The lead Drachnid ship fires a warning shot across our bow, standard pirate intimidation tactics. Incoming transmission, Officer Rin reports, trying not to smile. Put them through, I order. A scarred Drachnid captain appears on our main screen, mandibles gleaming with artificial enhancements. Confederation vessel, your ship appears to be experiencing technical difficulties. Surrender now, and we'll ensure your crew's survival as slaves. I notice Rodriguez rolling her eyes behind me. Blake makes a rude human hand gesture at the screen. Thank you for your concern, I respond, allowing my own mandibles to click in amusement. But I think we'll pass. Then you leave us no choice but to— Maya, hit it! Blake shouts. Our new hybrid shields snap into place, a shimmering bubble of energy that looks nothing like standard Confederation defenses. The pirate's first volley splashes harmlessly against it. Shields holding at 98%, Zen reports, sounding amazed. Their weapons aren't even making a dent. The Drachnid captain's expression shifts from confidence to confusion. What kind of shields are those? They're not standard Confederation. Nothing about this ship is standard anymore, I inform him. Would you like a demonstration? Rodriguez grins. Light them up, Madison. Blake's fingers fly across her jerry-rigged control panel. Plasma cannons charged to 120% capacity. That's impossible, Silrax exclaims. The containment fields can't handle. The entire ship hums with power as our modified weapons come online. On the view screen, the Drachnid captain's eyes widen. Fire, I order. A beam of pure energy, far more intense than anything my ship could previously generate, lances out toward the lead pirate vessel. Their shields, designed to handle standard Confederation weapons, might as well have been tissue paper. Direct hit, Zen announces. Their primary systems are completely offline? The Drachnid ship drifts helplessly, its lights flickering and dying. The other two vessels break formation, clearly reconsidering their attack strategy. Secondary targets locked, Blake reports cheerfully. Ready to fire on your command, Captain. Wait, the Drachnid captain shouts, his image now flickering with static. We surrender. By the void, what have you done to that ship? Just a few modest improvements, I reply, enjoying his panic. Courtesy of our human engineering team. Humans? He practically spits the word. You're working with humans? Got a problem with that? Rodriguez asks sweetly. The remaining pirate ships are already turning to flee. Should we let them go? Zen asks. I consider it for a moment. Fire a warning shot, something impressive. Blake grins. Oh, I've got just the thing. Tom, remember that modification we discussed? The one you said was crazy? You mean the pulse cannon? But we haven't tested it yet. No time like the present. Before I can ask what a pulse cannon is, the ship vibrates with a new kind of energy. A sphere of crackling blue-white plasma erupts from our bow, expanding outward like a miniature sun. It passes between the fleeing pirate ships, missing them by meters. Both vessels immediately cut their engines, floating dead in space. What was that? Silrax asks, his scales pale with shock. Electromagnetic pulse cranked up to 11, Blake explains proudly. Looks pretty, doesn't it? Also completely fries any unshielded electronics within range. The Drachnid captain's image has been replaced by static, but we can still hear his voice. We surrender. Please, just don't fire that weapon again. I look around my bridge, seeing the pride on every face, both human and Confederation. My crew no longer stands apart from the humans. They work together seamlessly, each contributing their unique expertise to this beautiful hybrid of technologies. Lieutenant Zen, contact the nearest Confederation patrol. Tell them we have some pirates for them to collect. I pause, then add, and make sure to mention that our ship's new capabilities are classified. Already done, she responds with a grin that she must have learned from Rodriguez. As we wait for the patrol ships to arrive, I watch Blake and Tom high-five each other, while Raj and Maya argue about power distribution algorithms with Silrax. Officer Rin is taking notes on human combat tactics, while Rodriguez lounges in a jury-rigged chair she installed next to my command position. Not bad for a bunch of primitives, huh? She asks. I click my mandibles in agreement. I admit I may have underestimated human capabilities. Don't worry about it, she says with a laugh. Everyone does. That's kind of our secret weapon. Looking at my ship's readings, power levels that shouldn't be possible, weapons that shouldn't exist, shields that break the laws of physics, I'm starting to understand what she means. The Confederation has always prided itself on having the most advanced technology in the galaxy. But these humans, they don't care about advanced. They care about what works. And somehow, they've turned my failing warship into something entirely new, something better. Captain, Blake calls out, while we're waiting for the patrol, want to see what else this ship can do? I've got some ideas about the propulsion system. I find myself nodding eagerly, my earlier prejudices forgotten. Show me everything, Captain quote, S-log, 2 weeks later. So what you're saying, Grand Admiral Zorn's hologram looms over my bridge, is that your ship, which was on the verge of total systems failure, is now outperforming every vessel in the Confederation fleet? That's correct, sir, I respond, trying not to sound too smug. And this was accomplished by humans? Behind me, I hear Blake stifle a laugh. She's elbow deep in yet another system upgrade, surrounded by a mess of tools that would give any Confederation engineer nightmares. Yes, sir. In fact, they've continued to improve our capabilities. Would you like a demonstration? The Grand Admiral's expression sours. The reports from the Drachnid incident were concerning. 3 pirate vessels disabled without suffering a single hit. 4 now, actually. Rodriguez pipes up from her unofficial spot beside my command chair. Had another run-in yesterday. Turns out our new pulse cannon works great against racks and shield generators, too. Who is that? The Admiral demands. Captain Jessica Rodriguez, sir. She's our technical advisor. Technical advisor. The Admiral's scales flush purple. Since when does a Confederation warship need a human technical advisor? Since this Confederation warship started breaking every performance record in the fleet, Blake calls out, not bothering to look up from her work. Tom, hand me that quantum spanner. No, the big one. I watch the Admiral's expression cycle through various shades of purple and blue. Captain Vrel, this is highly irregular. These modifications aren't approved by Confederation Engineering Corps. No, sir, they're better, I reply. Our power efficiency is up 300%. Weapon systems are operating at unprecedented levels. Even our life support systems are running smoother thanks to something the humans call a box fan. It's got racing stripes, Tom adds helpfully. Makes it go faster. The Admiral looks like he's about to burst a blood vessel. This is unacceptable. I'm dispatching a proper engineering team to restore your ship to regulation standards immediately. With respect, sir, I say, no longer bothering to hide my amusement. You might want to hold that thought. Lieutenant Zen? Incoming transmission from the Arcturian Defense Fleet, sir, Zen announces. They're requesting our assistance with their planetary defense grid. Apparently, word of our upgrades has spread. The Drachnids put in a bid too, Officer Wren adds. Seems those pirates we captured were quite chatty about our capabilities. Even the Raxan technocracy called, Raj says, looking up from his modified sensor array. They offered to trade their latest quantum processor designs for what they called our primitive but inexplicably effective technology. The Admiral's hologram flickers as he processes this information. The Raxans, they haven't shared technology with anyone in 3 centuries. Turns out getting their flagship's shields cracked like an egg by our primitive modifications changed their minds, Rodriguez grins. Strange how that works. Maya, power reading, Blake shouts from somewhere beneath the deck plating. Holding steady at 400% above original specs, Maya responds. And that's with the new entertainment system running. Entertainment system? The Admiral asks weakly. Yeah, we rigged up this sweet holographic gaming setup in the crew lounge, Tom explains. Uses less power than the old recreation modules and has way better graphics. Plus, we got the replicators to make pizza. I watch as the mighty Grand Admiral of the Confederation Fleet tries to comprehend what his prize warship has become. The Celestial Storm is no longer just a ship. It's become a symbol of what happens when you combine advanced alien technology with human ingenuity. Sir, I say, taking pity on him. I admit I was skeptical at first. The idea of humans modifying our technology seemed primitive, but they've shown me that sometimes the simplest solution is the best solution. By combining our technologies, we've created something entirely new. And awesome, Blake adds, finally emerging from below decks covered in grease. Don't forget awesome. The Confederation prides itself on having the most advanced technology in the galaxy, I continue. But these humans have taught us that advanced doesn't always mean better. Sometimes you need a hammer instead of a laser scalpel. Speaking of hammers, Rodriguez interjects, tell him about the kinetic bombardment system we installed. The Admiral's hologram actually takes a step back. The what? Oh, it's brilliant, Silrax exclaims, and I have to hide my smile at seeing my once skeptical chief engineer so excited about human technology. They showed us how to turn our garbage disposal unit into a mass accelerator. Now we can literally throw trash at our enemies at relativistic speeds. Reduce, reuse, recycle into weapons, Tom says proudly. Very environmentally friendly. The Admiral's hologram flickers again as he slumps into his chair. Captain Vrel, are you saying that your ship, the pride of the Confederation fleet, is now powered by human junk? No, sir, I reply. I'm saying that thanks to human innovation, the Celestial Storm has become something more than just another Confederation vessel. We're proof that our species can achieve amazing things when we work together. Plus, Blake adds with a grin, we've got cup holders now, really ties the whole bridge together. As the Admiral's hologram fades out, likely to go lie down with a strong drink, I look around my transformed bridge. The sleek Confederation designs now coexist with human modifications in a way that shouldn't work but somehow does. Just like our crews. So, Rodriguez says, should we tell him about the experimental warp drive modifications? Let's wait until he's had time to process the cup holders, I suggest. Speaking of which, Blake, you mentioned something about improving our faster-than-light capabilities? Oh yeah, she exclaims, eyes lighting up. You're gonna love this. We found a way to boost your quantum drive using principles from an old Earth video game called Mario Kart. As I listen to her explanation, which somehow involves mushrooms and rainbow roads, I realize that the true transformation isn't just in my ship. It's in all of us. We've learned to see past our preconceptions and recognize that progress doesn't always mean complexity. Sometimes it just means having the courage to try something new, even if that something involves duct tape and racing stripes. Captain S log final entry. 7 Raxan warships dropping out of hyperspace, Lieutenant Zen announces. They're in attack formation. Looks like the technocracy didn't appreciate us turning down their trade offer, Rodriguez observes, surprisingly calm as she watches the enemy fleet surround us. Their loss, Blake replies from her engineering station. Hey, Tom, remember that thing we were saving for a special occasion? You mean the thing that probably violates several laws of physics? That's the one. The lead Raxan vessel, twice the size of the Celestial Storm, moves into firing position. Their commander appears on our main screen, his cybernetic implants glinting menacingly. Surrender the human engineering data, he demands, or be destroyed. I share a look with Rodriguez. You know, a month ago I might have considered that offer. Really? She asks, raising an eyebrow. No, I admit with a click of my mandibles. Blake, show them what human engineering can really do. With pleasure. Maya, fire up the quantum pizza oven. The what? Silrax asks. Remember how we modified the shield harmonics using principles from Earth microwave technology? Blake grins as she enters commands into her hybrid control panel. Turns out, you can reverse the process. The Raxan commander's expression shifts from confidence to concern as our ship begins to emit a strange energy signature. Target locked, Zen reports, though I should note that the targeting computer is currently playing something called Doom. That's a feature, not a bug, Raj explains. Tom figured out how to use old Earth gaming processors to boost our calculation speed. Also, we can play Tetris during battle stations. The Raxan ships open fire. Their advanced energy weapons splash harmlessly against our shields, which now shimmer with an iridescent pattern that Blake swears was inspired by soap bubbles. Shields holding at 120%, Officer Wren announces. They're actually getting stronger from the attacks. That's because we reversed the polarity, Blake says proudly, and added some solar panels, for style. Return fire, I order. Show them what happens when you combine Confederation technology with human creativity. Our weapons array comes alive. The modified Tesla coils crackle with energy as the quantum pizza oven, I still can't believe we actually call it that, powers up. Rainbow-tinted plasma beams lance out from our ship, guided by targeting algorithms running on what appears to be a modified game console. The lead Raxan ship's shields collapse instantly. The others break formation, trying to regroup. Their flagship's weapons are offline, Zen reports. Actually, everything's offline. I think we just turned their quantum core into a very expensive paperweight. That's what happens when you underestimate human engineering, Blake shouts triumphantly. Want to see what else this baby can do? The remaining Raxan ships are already retreating, their superior technology proving no match for our hybrid systems. Their commander's image returns to our screen, his cybernetic implant sparking slightly. "This is impossible," he sputters. "Your ship's modifications violate every known principle of quantum mechanics." "That's because you're thinking too hard about it," Rodriguez replies. "Sometimes you just need to hit things with a bigger hammer." "Speaking of which," Blake cuts in, "that experimental warp drive is ready for testing. Want to show them some real speed, Captain?" I nod, feeling a very human-like grin spread across my face. "Lieutenant Zen, plot an intercept course. Let's show the technocracy what happens when you combine their precious quantum theory with something called NASCAR engineering." The celestial storm leaps forward, leaving a trail of rainbows in its wake. Another one of Blake's modifications that somehow improved our engine efficiency by 500%. The Raxan ships scatter before us like leaves in a solar wind. "Should we pursue?" Zen asks. I consider it for a moment, then shake my head. Let them go. Let them tell everyone what they saw here today. Let them remember what happens when you underestimate human ingenuity. "Also," Tom adds, "we're about to run out of quantum pizza fuel, and I'm actually kind of hungry." As we watch the Raxan fleet retreat, I realize that my ship, this beautiful hybrid of advanced alien technology and human improvisation, has become more than just a warning. It's become a symbol of what's possible when species work together, when we combine the best of both worlds. Even if one of those worlds still thinks adding racing stripes makes everything work better. Somehow they're not wrong. Personal log, Captain Nexorvrel. The celestial storm has become something of a legend in Confederation space. Other ships now sport their own hybrid modifications, though none quite match our unique combination of quantum physics and duct tape. Blake says it's because they're trying too hard. She's probably right. High Command has officially designated us as a special research vessel, which I suspect is their way of admitting they have no idea how to classify a warship that runs on pizza power and breaks physics for fun. They've even started an official human engineering integration program, though I notice they're still struggling with the concept of percussive maintenance. Rodriguez and her crew decided to stay on permanently. Says they've grown attached to our fancy alien coffee makers. Though I suspect it has more to do with the fact that we're the only ship in the galaxy with both a quantum computer and an arcade cabinet on the bridge. Looking back at my first log entry, I can hardly believe I once dismissed humans as primitives. They've taught us that sometimes the best solution isn't the most advanced one. Sometimes it's the one held together with zip ties and optimism. The Celestial Storm isn't just a ship anymore. It's proof that when species work together, anything is possible. Even if it does need a fresh coat of racing stripes every now and then.